voice and money are the most common sources of arguments in U.S. marriages. What about in China? Welcome to The Bridge, enlightening conversations on world cultures, life, and everything in between. Hey everyone, this is Jason Smith, host of The Bridge podcast from sunny California. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe. We love The Bridge. Hey everyone, I'm Jason Smith, originally from sunny California, now living in beautiful Beijing. Today with me is Baby.
Hey. Hi, Jason. So we're talking about marriages now?
Well,
we need like 100 hours to sort that out.
You know, I think between the two of us, we probably know this topic pretty well.
Yeah, well, for me, this is the 13th year, I think? 13th, 14th? Yeah.
Hey, we're close. I think we're 12 or 13 also. Yeah, 12 maybe.
I'm like a different person now. I've been almost completely reinvented.
Don't you think that's just normal in life?
Normal? How do you define normal? I think that's a good version. Like, this is what it's supposed to be. I think people...
What I mean is, like, don't you feel like every 5 or 10 years you're all going to be a new person no matter what?
Well, yeah, especially in the past 13 years. Especially in the past, 11, since my daughter is almost 11 years old.
Sure.
And that's when the changing really started. Like, I was forced to change. Yeah, whether or not you like it. This is the class we're in now. You signed up for this. Yeah.
A new article entitled Top Reasons American Couples Argue puts tone of voice and money at the top of the list as to why U.S. couples argue. I would have guessed money, but tone of voice makes a lot of sense after I heard it.
Yep.
So I want to see if there are parallels. So you already agree. So, baby, let me ask this. How do Chinese couples mediate a quarrel?
Well, that's complicated, but can I just say something about the tone of voice?
Yes, you can.
My husband and I were very different. It took me about 10 years to figure out that we're actually compatible. And because we're different in so many ways, and extremely different, so that makes us compatible. So it took me a long time to start appreciate it. So one of the differences is that he's really into these nitty-gritty things. And me, on the other hand, I don't care about most of things. But there are two things.
What's a nitty-gritty thing?
Well, for example, he keeps nagging about the way I turn on the air conditioner. You turn on the air conditioner.
Wait, you turn it on?
Yeah, you turn it on, right? There's this red button. You turn it on. And this morning, maybe this was the, 5th time, he said, oh, you're supposed to put this on this mode, this refreshing mode. And the first few times, I was like, okay, fine, just put it on. And this morning, I was busy, and I was like, enough, you just put it on. You want certain mode, you put it on, right? Stop nagging about it. So I just shot back, and he was quiet. Because these things are important to him. I understand it. I wanted the issue to be over, and I didn't want to spend time arguing about it, so I just shot back. That's the only way it works. Well, not the only way, but that's the way I prefer.
So I think the article's suggesting people behave other than Bebe. Let me just point this. So Bebe is like, you want that mode, you put it on yourself. But the article, I think what it's suggesting is, hey, if you want that mode, you could put it on yourself.
You know what? That's faking it. And he can tell, I can tell. Right? By now, after 13 years, I don't want to spend any energy faking it. I'm annoyed, and he should know it by now. And this is the only way he'll know. Or the other day, what do you call it? The ventilator, in the kitchen, it draws the cooking, the air. What do you call it?
I would say ventilator is a perfectly appropriate word.
Yeah. So, I was boiling corn. There's no smoke, right? It's just vapor. And he was like, oh, you're supposed to put this on, turn it on. And it's maddeningly noisy. It gives you a headache. But he's like, you have to put it on or else the smoke detector would go off. I was like, do you know why it's called a smoke detector? Not a water vapor detector?
Wow.
He gets into these things. But we know each other, so pretty well by now. But I'm just saying that this is how we are different. And he's okay with me shooting back like this. He knows this is my behavior. But the thing that I get annoyed with, like, more than this, is the tone of voice, which is just what you mentioned. You said tone of voice and money.
So wait, when he uses the wrong tone of voice, bad. When Bebe shoots back, it's fine.
yeah, it's fine. Because you gotta understand, I don't, like, pick on things like he does, right? I'm okay with nearly everything else. However he turns on the machine, whether or not he does this or that, I leave him alone. You know the freedom that entails, right? He really takes it for granted. Like, there are things I'm not happy about, but I let it go. But he doesn't. No, he like, rips onto them. But one thing I won't let slip is his tone of voice. Like, I will let him know that I'm not happy about his tone of voice anywhere, anytime.
With your tone of voice.
Well, with my tone of voice, exactly. Because otherwise, he doesn't get the message. So, after 13 years, that's something I'm still, making a point about. We've dropped so many other things, and we've never really thought about money, not because we have, so much of it, but because we know that we both work, and we love our work, and we don't mind working, so we're not lazy in this way. There were years where I was, the main bread earner of the family.
Oh, wow.
And there are years when he is, so it's not an issue. I tend to spend more than he does, so as long as he's okay with it, I'm okay with this. So we don't really fight about money. But I think what we fought the most about over the years is about the way we, raise our child. I think for most Chinese families, I'm not too sure if that's the case for American families, but that's when the fighting really starts.
Wow.
All the deeper differences, the arguments start boiling once you have children. All the time that before the kids come, those were just simple practices compared to what it's like with children. So having kids is probably the most serious decision one ever get to make, in one's life. Because
not all children are decisions. Some of them just happen.
Yeah, that's true, but still, right? I mean, there are things you can do about it. I mean, it's not nice things, but viewing back, I think that's what we fought the most about. And I'm pretty thankful that after 10 years of all the fighting, finally started to calm down. Because I think once we were just exhausted, all the fighting basically led to nothing. You know, he's still the way he is. I'm in many ways still the way I am, but we've both grown at the same time. There are characteristics, our personalities, that have not changed and probably never will. And we learn to just give up on that, to accept it, right? To grow our space for allowance, to just let things be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you have to, list the things that people fight about, then I think probably we fight about the same things in both countries. Life is life. You know, after you get married, after you have kids, you face the same problems. The other day, I saw this video, and it shows the WeChat messages between a couple, and it looks so boring that it gets really funny. The couple, I think they've been married for years and years, and they're only, the same thing every day. The wife says to the husband, who picks up the child? And the dad is me. And the next question from the wife is, what to eat? And his husband is noodles with, shredded meat, something like this. And every day, at around the same time, it's the same conversation, except that the sentences get shorter and shorter. So, days after, the message shows, who? And the husband says, me. And then, eat. And, noodles. And that's what, but, young people might think this sounds really boring. But let me tell you, this also shows that life is peaceful. You know, that's the other side of the coin. Once you get used to each other, once you've grown enough space inside to allow the existence of another person in your life, or persons, life becomes much more peaceful. So it's something that looks really boring and not worth it, not exciting enough for young people. We appreciate it by our age, mid-40s. Because this allows us to rest, to save energy. We know how the other person works. Finally.
Let me tell you about a short video that I saw on X. this morning. There's a video clips of a boy and his girlfriend, and they're out like at some, regular restaurant, normal people's kind of restaurant. And he hands her a beer, and she rips the top of the beer off, not the cap, the top half of the glass off, and then hands it to him. And then there's another picture of a Chinese woman in a kung fu costume, and she's breaking a bunch of bricks with one hit. And then there's another Chinese woman, and she's beating, what are those called, durian, until it opens up. And then it shows a Chinese man looking back humbly and meekly and scared, washing the dishes. And it says, is this true? And so I have to say, it actually sounds like your marriage is similar. You say your husband can't have a certain tone of voice, but you can. So, that's how it is in my house, too. If I get really upset and I want to lose it, I have to remind myself to breathe and to calm down and to use the right tone of voice. But if my wife, who is Chinese, loses it, I also have to remember to breathe and to calm down and use a calm voice. The only way that our relationship works is if I'm calm.
Oh, I see. Well, see, your wife also deals with a lot of the things that you don't want to deal with.
Yes.
Just by the communication that we've had over the years. The things that she has to deal with, oh my gosh, I would give her $1 million if I had it. just take it and the problems and leave me alone. Right? So you gotta respect her for that. She has the ability to execute. You know what I mean? We just talk. Jason, we just talk. But for your wife and my husband, that's one of the reasons why, even though I talk to him like that, sometimes, most of the time, I'm really nice. But I have deep respect for him because...
Is that what you tell yourself?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the occasion this morning lasted for a minute and a half. Right, but for the rest of the day, I'm the nice person. Because he can't say a sweet thing. Literally, he does not have the ability to say anything that sounds sweet. I can explain later, but that's something I've had to, learn to live with over the years and decades into the future. But one thing I respect him for is that he can solve problems in real day, everyday lives. Your wife can. So by now we've learned, the things that we treasure in each other. And also the points that maybe the buttons that we shouldn't push, right? Or push lightly when necessary. And that's the fun thing about marriages. You really get to know somebody. And it won't work if you break the progress. Even now we're making progress in marriages. We get to know more about each other. And sometimes in pleasant ways, sometimes in unpleasant ways.
Let's flip it a little bit, because I want to really focus not as much on how can marriages get along, but about how Chinese and Western marriages are similar and different. So we've talked also about the fact that sometimes, not always, but sometimes Chinese families tend to live with more than just two generations. So sometimes the parents live there.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, and especially in traditional China, there's a lot more involvement with the family and the larger family. So would you say that parents-in-law, fathers-in-law, and mothers-in-law, grandparents, are more likely to get involved in a marital dispute, or do they stay out of it?
They definitely, if you live together, they definitely get involved. But involved is a neutral word, right? And I think the consequence from that, there's good and bad side to it. It depends on who you live with. I actually feel fortunate that we have been alone in this way, even though it gets stressful at times because we have to work out how to take care of our daughter, just between the two of us. Most Chinese families, they have help from one side of the grandparents, and sometimes the alternate. And a lot of them have to live together across generations. I think most families don't really like it, because more people in one household, more problems. That's usually the case. No matter how much you treasure and love each other, because everyone is different. We do things differently. But I have to say, I remember one conversation I had with one of my aunts from my dad's side. There were several years when my husband and I were fighting a lot. It was really unpleasant. Our daughter was young. We're so different in the way we want to raise our child when it comes to, the details. And my aunt was saying, no, she was actually saying this to my dad. He was like, one of the reasons they're fighting so much is because none of you are present. None of you are helping. I think that is one of the problems because we have so little help. And it's stressful. It's tiring to take care of, a small child while both are working. I think that's another. We were both working without help. And so she was telling my dad, because she was helping to raise the two sons of her daughter. Like, they literally take care of everything, Jason. They'll cook. They send the kids to school. Well, before kindergarten, they literally take care of the kids, like, all day long. And 3 meals a day. They'll clean. And they'll even, like, give money to the couple. Like, that's Chinese older generation parents. So for my aunt, she was thinking that my parents didn't really put in the work, and that's why your kids are fighting so much. One of the reasons why. Like, if we had more help, we would both be able to breathe a little better, or rest a little bit more. But at the same time, when there are more people in the household, you have to deal with other problems. So I think it's just like two sides of the coin. And by now, I actually, whatever I've had, I've started to appreciate it. I've learned to appreciate it. I didn't have people meddling so much, like, other than my husband, in the way I'm raising my daughter. Because if you have your parent-in-law or even your parents, they'll always have something to say about the way you do things.
You should do this. You should say that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because they're so much more ingrained in the way that things should be this way, should be that way. And it's just, oh my gosh, just leave me alone, right? You know what I'm talking about. So, yeah.
I think, in my opinion, of course, not all American couples are the same, because there's a lot of Americans from other countries and stuff, too. But third, fourth generation Americans who've been in the middle of the soup for a long time, I think that the in-laws know to stay just away from the couple when they're fighting and just, like, let them deal with this. This is their problem. But maybe give them advice one-on-one basis when they're alone, but not when the two of them are actually having a conflict. I wanted to ask a different question, though.
No, here, let me just say one more thing.
Sure.
The reason why I think that parents or in-laws in the house might help is that because of their presence, there won't be as much fighting. Because let's just imagine, like, if you wanted to shout at your wife or you have some issue that you're talking about, but your mom is there, you will be embarrassed, because it shows the bad side of your character. It shows that you're not in control, or you're not as calm as you should be. So we would feel some more pressure about presenting the better side of ourselves when there's someone else around. Maybe it's your parents, or, her parents, or maybe it's your children. Like, you wouldn't want to fight as much with your children present. It's embarrassing, right? We know it's not our shiny side. But it's not so much about mending problems after things have happened. It's that they actually prevent some of the worst eruptions just because someone else was there.
Moving on, I want to compare another topic, because in America, I would say upper middle class and upper class, like people who can afford it, sometimes when couples don't get along and that things are not able to be resolved, one of the steps that people take is bringing in a therapist to help the couple learn to communicate better. Do you think that happens in China, or is that something that seldom happens?
I think that won't be as popular in China. That might actually be something that, like, not getting or not paying for a therapist might be the rare agreement that can be reached between the couple. Like, we can fight for free. Why do you want to pay hundreds of RMB, or however much it is, to pay for someone, get into our problems per hour? And you pay that every week? Are you kidding me? Let's go out and eat with that money. I mean, one thing is pricey, right? And you will have to go somewhere. And you will have probably know somebody, who you trust.
Oh, yeah.
It's just too complicated, I think, for most Chinese couples that I know. But maybe, like, for the younger generation who are single, I think they won't mind as much with paying a few hundred RMB to talk to someone to make them see things clearer. But maybe not for couples with kids. They'd rather spend the money on their kids.
Next question. We're going to keep doing these. Okay, so in my own personal experience, and I think this may not reflect everyone's, in California at least, I almost never see couples fighting in public. I think they go somewhere to fight. They go home or they get in a car or wherever and they go have their fight somewhere. But I've seen a lot of public disputes in China where couples are like not being pleasant, outside. What do you think, in your personal experience, you lived in both countries, do you think that public arguments are more common in China? Or am I just seeing, this is Jason's experience?
Well, first of all, they're like 4 times the population, right, in China than in the U.S. And also, you've been in big cities.
That's true.
I've seen public fighting between couples in both the U.S. and in China, but really rare. And in China, it's actually me who is not ashamed of saying things and shouting in public. So it's really rare. It's hard to say. It's hard to generalize. Some people care more about saving face, right? Because there's a saying in Chinese that, like, 家丑不可外扬, like, you're not supposed to show the ugliness inside your family in public. You always put up like a nice face, right? Like, family is full of love, peaceful, da-da-da. But I think maybe that tradition might be losing some of its value. I think the younger generations don't care as much.
Oh.
Like, I don't care as much. Because I think most people's lives are pretty much the same. No matter how they pretend, like, most people, they argue about things, and that's how they learn about each other, right? And there are happy moments, there are moments of conflict, it's normal. So I don't pretend as much. And the point is, I want my husband to learn not to push my buttons, because if it's a really gentle situation, he won't learn. You know what I mean, Jason? Yeah. If I swallow it every single time, it'll just feed his way of doing things inappropriately.
Do you think he thinks the same thing? Does he try to teach you?
I don't know if he's as smart about this as I am. Because I think his focus is on, like, AI, computers and cars. I don't think he spends much time.
That sounds like a guy to
Yeah. He's straight. So I don't think he spends much time ruminating about the wisdom of living a marital life peacefully. So I have to, take up the burden and teach him a few things once in a while.
I think this is about what you're talking about. Okay, before I get to the actual question, I just want to point out, and this has been verified a lot, that in China, people say they love you by giving you things or taking care of you, whereas in America, they say, I love you more. So I wanted to ask about apologies. At the end of a fight, does your husband say, I'm so sorry, or do you demand that, or how does that work?
Never. Never.
So once you finish instructing him, then he's just like sits there and sulks?
No, he starts watching videos. You think he would sit there and ruminate about what went wrong? No. He will pull up like videos of like car tires and become lost in it. Yeah, so ladies, don't think that your husband would sit there, thinking about the things that he has done wrong and he'll figure things out by himself. In most cases, that's not the case. Yeah, as you said, somehow the words I love you in Chinese, it's very hard to say. I don't know if it's just the sound of it, it's just hard to say it. Parents don't even say it to their kids in Chinese. It's so much easier to say it in English. I don't know if it's the sound of the language or because of its cultural background. You rarely hear this in China.
I don't actually think I love you always means I love you. Sometimes it means I love you. I think sometimes it also means, be reassured that we're okay. I think that's actually the translate. A lot of it.
I'm not going to kill you today.
you have a big fight or whatever, or you're just going to bed, you just say, I love you. And it doesn't mean I love you. Oh, my gosh, my heart is pounding with love for you. It actually just means, like, don't worry, I think our relationship is going well. Or, like, I'm there for you.
I forgive you, or you forgive me.
I think it has a lot of different meanings beyond actually expressing, like, poetic love. I think it actually also just means, don't worry, everything's okay. Like, be reassured or whatever. It has a lot of other meanings. That's why we use it a lot, because it's not just expression of I love you, but it's the expression of I'm sorry, or like, don't worry, everything will be fine tomorrow, or all kinds of other things.
Yes. For example, us, my family, we've been married for 13, 14 years. Our child is almost 11 by now. We are far beyond language. Our communication is far beyond language. We've moved past that, because I think language is limited. And the other, like, subtle messages are so much more expressive. And you've learned to read the languages. Like, we say sorry in the tone of voice, or just in the way we look at each other. Like, for example, we had this 2.5-2 minute forceful discourse about the mode of the air conditioner. 5 minutes later, I pat him on the back. And when I say things, they're small gestures. And he knows that things are cool. We are cool with each other. I didn't have to say anything, right? And when he leaves for work, we give each other a hug. I mean, like, we've learned by now. We don't have to say anything. I think that's one of the things, the beauty about staying in a relationship. You get over the hurdles. You learn about each other through the hurdles. And it's not just about learning about each other. You're learning about humanity. You're learning about yourself. You only get to know yourself. You only get to know humanity through relationships. And that's one of the best courses we can take on Earth. It's getting married. It's raising children. So, like, I think if I just say something to the younger generation who are not married yet, do not think of marriage as a way of realizing happiness. Do not think of raising children as a way of being happy. I'm going to be happy when I get married, when I have a child. You're not going to just be happy automatically.
Oh, I'm way happier than you.
Yeah.
I'm going to Macau in a couple days.
Nice. All the traveling I've been doing. But the point is, do not seek happiness from marriages, but, like, lessons you learn. Growth is more of the end point than just being happy. You become a different person. You become more mature. You become more gracious, right? You allow more things to happen because of the relationship that you've been building over the years and decades.
Oh, yeah.
With a history of 5,000 years, it's no surprise that China has created a fabulous treasury of folk tales.
Once a year, on the 7th day of the 7th month, all the magpies fly up to heaven and form a bridge.
So many amazing worlds to discover.
I want a new palace, said King Mu of Zhou one day.
Chinese folk tales retold for audiences today. Will you marry me?
He asked. And with little hesitation, she said, yes.
5,000 years of amazing Chinese folk tales.
My father must not go to war. Someone must take his place.
You'll find Chinese Folk Tales Season 3, wherever you discover your favorite podcasts.
This is Jason Smith, host of The Bridge Podcast from sunny California. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe. We love The Bridge.
You're listening to The Bridge.
Well, let's go to the next topic. When I was a child, raised in a big family, 4 boys. I was number 3. And my parents, they were married my whole life. They argued, sure, but I never saw it. Never. What they did was they argued in private, and then when they were in front of us, they pretended to have a unified front. So that all the children thought that mom and dad agreed on everything. So, they were really clever in that way. They would go and have their own council by themselves. But in front of the kids, it was like, no, the mom and dad have spoken. So I want to ask about Chinese families. Do you and your husband have a unified front in front of your daughter?
Not an artificial one. We don't try to do that, but we do somehow. We don't mind fighting a little bit in front of our daughter, because I think that she should get a sense of reality, right? Marriages are not easy. It's not just about happy side. It's not harmonious, on its own. You need to learn to be able to achieve that. So by now, I think she knows that it takes a bit of work, but they're always okay after a few minutes. So she learned that much, right? There are problems, but they can be solved. They can grow. I think she's seen our growth on both sides over the years. So we don't really hide much from her. When it comes to a unified friend, it's not something we do artificially. We don't try to do that.
Okay, let's move on. This is from The Top Reasons American Couples Argue by visualcapitalist.com. And number 3 and number 1 are basically the same, so tone of voice and communication. So we're going to skip to number 4. The fourth top reason in American households, couples fight chores, household chores. So I want to ask, in your family, how do you guys resolve conflicts when it's time to take out the trash?
Oh, I take out the trash. That's nothing. But when we can, we delegate the chores outside. Because I know that it would be a problem if we had to do all the work, all the cooking, cleaning, besides working and taking care of our daughter. Things we explode. So we both agreed on for hiring help. We pay our caretaker 2 to 3 hours a day. Every single day she comes in. She cleans. She will do some cleaning work and then cook dinner. So, yeah, it's not a big problem. But I know that if we didn't have this help, it would be a problem. Because I would be the one doing all of it. Literally all of it. Oh, by the way, guess what I discovered this morning? My husband, I think because he woke up a little earlier, he had more work to do. So he decided to cook some breakfast by boiling some corn. And I woke up to, a kitchen full of smoke.
I thought you said it was steam.
Yeah, and then turned to smoke. But he did have the ventilator on. Maybe that's why he didn't smell it, soon enough. So the last 3 corn that we had in the house, they are charcoal now. That's the consequence of him doing house chores. So I knew that, and we didn't have help. We will fight over this. So why not just hire somebody to do the work? I think one of the benefits about living in China, that hiring someone for domestic work is still pretty affordable for a lot of families. You can hire someone for the full time, someone who can live in your house, a nanny who can, or when you have a baby in the house. You want someone to take care of the baby even at night, then you can hire someone like that. Or you can hire someone to come in for 8 hours a day. In my case, our caretaker comes in for 2 hours a day, and you just pay her by the hour. So there's so many different choices. It's very convenient. From my impression, it's harder to do that in the States. It's a lot more expensive.
Oh, yeah.
You probably have to pay thousands of dollars a month for that same. Yeah, and I feel very fortunate.
My cousin is a house cleaner, and she works for very wealthy clientele only because they're the only ones that can afford her.
Yeah.
And she just goes to different houses periodically and cleans them top to bottom and leaves. And they pay her a certain, it's the same thing. She makes good wages. She gets paid well.
Yeah, she should. It's not easy work. And I think the domestic, what do you call them? Domestic helpers? I think it's paid pretty well here in China, in the big cities too. I mean, it's not cheap anymore. When I first lived in Beijing, it was pretty cheap. It was $2 an hour. And now it's $7 or $8 per hour. It's not affordable for every single family. But for middle class, it's okay.
For my wife and I, personally, we don't have kids, so we're just taking care of ourselves. We split up the chores, but I have to say, this is where I've actually decided a long time ago, years ago, that it would just be easier to do more chores than to have this become a problem. So I actually do about 90% of the household chores. Well, I wake up, I wash the dishes at night, I clean the bathroom,
Wow.
I wash the clothes, I hang the clothes up to dry, I make the bed, I dust the house. But what I do is I leave the sweeping and the mopping in the house for my wife, so that she sweeps and mops and says, well, I was cleaning all day today or whatever, so she can feel like she did something. But I secretly know that I did everything else.
Nice. Well, that's good for you, Jason. I think most men would find that hard. Most men won't even realize that they can do this. They probably don't even see it. Seriously, they don't see it.
It doesn't actually take that much time. I wake up in the morning, I just start cleaning, and then, pretty soon I'm getting ready for work. It doesn't take that much time.
Yeah, I'm sure your wife knows it, right?
No, she thinks she's the one who cleans the house. Yeah.
Well, there is love.
I want her to think that because she swept one room and mopped it, that she cleaned the house. I want her to feel that she did it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just secretly do everything except the most obvious thing. So that when she does it, she feels like so proud.
Yeah.
And I think that actually works better than me saying, well, I did this and that and this. No, I don't do that. I just say, wow, good job, babe.
Yeah. Everywhere she turns, there's garbage or there's, dirty dishes. Like, she wouldn't be in a very good mood.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, in a roundabout way, you've saved yourself a lot of trouble.
Exactly. I'm much happier just doing some work every day that she barely knows than having her freak out.
Yeah. Yeah, good for you, Jason. You're rare.
Here's the next one. I think that you probably do this. I don't know, but let's just ask. Well, we have in America, we have something called date night. And that means we try to choose as Americans. This is a very common cultural thing, very American. Once a week at least, there should be one night that is prescribed as the couple going out on a date. It doesn't have to be much, dinner and a movie, whatever. A moment where the couple reinvigorates the fact that they're in a relationship with one another. Do you have something like this, or does this happen in China to your knowledge?
So if we went out on our own, who will take care of our daughter?
Well, you could bring your daughter. It's potentially family time, right? I don't know.
No, what's the difference?
You tell me.
The three of us going to a meal, we do that all the time. But it's different from the couple spending time. We barely had any time like that over the past 11 years.
Wow.
As I said, we don't have anyone else to depend on, right?
What about Valentine's Day or Chinese versions of that? Because there's several of them. There's 11/11 and all.
We still.
Does he bring chocolates or flowers or something?
No. No. Maybe flowers for birthdays, but... Yeah. No, it's not a thing.
I don't know if this is representative, because my feeling is, if I open my phone right now, I'm actually going to open my phone. I'm opening my phone, and if I go to Alama and open Alama and just write hua, which is the Chinese word for flowers, which I'm doing.
It's easy to get
there's
them.
I don't know. I'm just scrolling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm endless. 30 or 40 flower stores that deliver flowers, roses and stuff to my home.
Why is what?
Up on demand constantly in every major city in China. So why is that then?
I don't know. It's not that important to me. I told you, my husband is not sweet, in any way.
Why is it so easy to get chocolates and flowers delivered to your house?
I've learned that, and I've accepted it. But, he won't take care of a broken window or the screen. He'll fix the car when it needs to. He'll deal with all the other stuff that I don't like to deal with. Why would I ask him to buy me? I don't even enjoy it all that much. I have to take care of it and cut it. And they go, bad after a week. Or chocolate. I don't like chocolate. I don't eat chocolate. So maybe other things. I think for a middle-aged couple with kids, leaving each other alone is a really good gift. That's all we want most of the time. And I think one thing I've learned about keeping any relationship, mature relationships, is learn to leave the other person alone. Focus on yourself. This is not in a selfish way, but I find that we don't want to be told what to do, right? Kids don't even like to be told what to do. We as adults don't like to be interfered, right? The way he likes to do things a certain way, If you like to put air conditioner in a certain mode, you do it. I'm not going to interfere, and that's peace. I like to just push the red button, turn it on, turn it off, and don't matter with me, right? You want it some other way, you do it. So the less we interfere, the more harmonious or peaceful our relationships will be. And when we are adults, the kids, we have to take care of them. We help them form habits and all that. But really, for like adults, let's just leave each other alone. The problems come when we try to interfere. Like when we're in our 40s, 50s, and older, we pretty much know how we're going to live our lives, right? So just leave each other alone. Leave each other in peace, and we will all be in peace.
Well, baby just wants time alone. Got it.
Yeah, seriously, because, like, especially with a family with multiple kids, oh my gosh. Like, you literally have used up all your energy by the end of the day. You probably, like, may use some extra energy, and you have to, like, really gain it back through sleep or just being alone. So, yeah, like my family, my husband, we don't do a lot of these, I call artificial things. Things just flow naturally. I mean, if we need something, we say something. If we don't make...
Yeah, I don't think we actually have any rules or whatever, like skipping a bunch of these because they're repeating the same kind of stuff. I think they're irrelevant. I actually am confused about this. Maybe you can explain this one. It says food choices. So have you and your husband ever... my wife and I, we don't fight about food. So have you and your husband ever had a fight about food?
Not that I remember. I mean, like, after we have our daughter, it really, at the end, it depends on what she wants to eat. You know? I think after you have kids, you start evolving. Everything starts evolving around what the child needs or wants. If she's happy, you know, we're both happy. And it's even for both of us. We are both okay with what she's okay with. Unless one of us, like, really wants something. Like, if I really wanted something, my husband was like, you know what, let's go get what Mom wants. But most of the time, we're okay.
Let's do another one. This it happens in the movies a lot. So I assume it does happen to some people, and that is career decisions. So, you know, maybe one of you wants to be a reporter, one of you wants to be a CEO of some kind of company, and you're both fighting for that. You live in one town or city, but one of you gets the opportunity to move to a city that's far away, and that means person B has to uplift themselves out of whatever they're doing to go pursue that other person's career in I don't know, Shenzhen or whatever. Is this something that you've heard about happening to Chinese people that you know, or has this affected you, where like one person's career happens to take precedence over the other, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I don't think there are like golden rules about what to do. You just go with how things feel, I think, right? People today have a lot of financial pressure, right? Because everyone wants a nice place to live in, and that's always pricey. I think most middle-aged couples, they live under the threat of not being able to pay their mortgage, because usually it's a lot of money. Yeah, and then they form their decisions according to their financial needs. And usually both the husband and wife will agree to what they need to do. For Chinese couples, okay, what's really important, what's central to their marriage, the whole family thing, is their kids. Like, the child comes in the first place. And I think if you ask most Chinese families, that's the case. And then it's about the education for the kids. I think a lot of people fight about, or they might have conflicts when it comes to how they educate their kids, like what school to go to, after school classes, what sports to play, and what the child eats and wears and things like that. So it's really, that's probably most of. And then, of course, money is part of the issue, right? If you want to go to private school or if you want a bigger place, there's always the issue of money. Yeah, so, I mean, career-wise, most people, they have their career so that they can live the life they want. I think the decisions can be flexible.
Oh, yeah.
我爱你, I love you. 我爱你. This might be the easiest way to say I love you, since there are so many other romantic expressions. No matter if you're a rookie
你好，我的中文语言
or a sophisticated learner.
我来北京5年了，我是本地人。
There is definitely something that will interest you. Check out Takeaway Chinese, a word that starts with 你好.
The strong wind was howling and whistling.
He was the first Chinese citizen to graduate from Yale University in the mid-19th century.
I was born on the 17th of November. She had prominent features. 3 of us were old enough to lend a helping hand.
He navigated between two vastly different cultures and moved further to realize his dream and promote understanding between the people of China and the United States.
Jie Mingxing was a native of Hanyang. I realized no danger. China is really awakening.
Come and join us in discovering the incredible journey of Yong Wang in his autobiography, My Life in China and America. Check out the Audible stories on radio.cttn.com and all major podcast platforms. To search for the podcast Books and Beyond and find My Life in China and America.
This is Jason Smith, host of the Bridge Podcast from sunny California. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe. We love the Bridge.
You're listening to The Bridge.
I think this topic is an interesting topic for me. The South China Morning Post, which I read often, they're a great place to get news about China. One of the less biased places to get news about China. There's an article, Chinese province quintuples marriage leave to give betrothals a boost. So apparently, Hubei province will give 15 days of leave for newlyweds. The reason I bring this up is it's well known that increasingly developed countries like China, Japan, Germany, the United States, Canada, etc., marriages decrease. As societies get richer, it's harder to get people to say, okay, I want to get married, or they'll get married later and later in life.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the current trend of the Chinese government and local governments offering different kinds of incentives to get Chinese people to get married? What do you think of this trend?
I think it's pretty funny. Yeah, because, and I don't know what difference it will make, right? Because of 10 days of more vacation time. Will it be worth it for a lifetime of suffering? I don't know. It's like, we'll give you 300, 500 in bonus money. Like, the government will give it to you if you just have another kid. Chinese people are pretty good at math. They'll calculate it and think it's not worth it. That's like a bottle of, like, formula. No.
I think there is a province that's offering $500 a month or something in, like, tax benefits or something now. So that's, that's not bad. 1,000 RMB or something a year.
I don't know if you watch Chinese stand-up comedy. Just in the past few months, there's been at least 2 to 3 new stand-up comedy stars have gone viral, and both are females. And, well, she's not young. She's like my age, mid-40s. She's never been married. She still lives with her parents. Her segment was so popular, trendy everywhere. She talks about her life. Like, she has no worries. And she's like, I go out with my friends, maybe from childhood, and all through the dinner, she talks about her kids, her husband, her, how much work is involved. Oh, but I'm so happy at the end of the day when the kids are asleep. Oh, they're so cute. My heart melts, and I feel happiness, after working so hard for a day. And she's like, so that's the happiness from getting married and having kids? I can feel that after a day of hard work. I don't need to have kids to feel that, right? The happiness from being able to finally to relax after a hard working day. And she's like, every time she goes out with people who are married, like, what they do is all complain about their marriage and say how tired they are about raising kids. And she's like, I have nothing to complain about. I live with my parents who love me, like, unconditionally, right? And because she's older now, she's also, taking care of her parents. And they're very acceptable of the fact that she decided not to get married, decades ago. And this is a general topic that has been really popular, like the central topic of marriage and also having kids. Younger people start to say how complicated things get with marriages. I think older generations, they didn't really think about it. Like, you reach a certain age, you just get married, right? It's almost a thoughtless process. But the younger generations are thinking about this now. They're doing the calculations. And they're going after their gut feelings. They see how their parents have been fighting for decades, and they're like, why would I get into that hole? I see cases like this. My daughter's aunt's daughter, she's like, 35, 36? Pretty right, when it comes to age for marriage, and she's still single. And, she's living her happy life. She likes her work, she gets paid enough, she goes out with friends over the weekend. But my daughter's aunt, she can't sleep. Day after day, month after month, because she's so worried that her daughter will be alone in the future. No one will take her to the hospital when she's old and things like that. But the stand-up comedian I mentioned earlier, she's female, 45. She's like, my parents have done the research online. They're like, see, all these AI robots that are coming out, I'm sure there will be robots in the future for single ladies. Who can take care of old ladies or old men in their senior lives. Yeah, so they're like, you know what, we're not going to worry.
It's amazing. I'm actually really amazed by this. There's a lot of elder care robots that exist in elder care facilities in China now.
Yeah, so I think it's a personal choice. I don't really think it's good or bad, but I do think that being married, raising kids can help one grow, immensely. If there are classes you can sign up for growth, for personal growth, there's no better ones than just going through marriages and raising kids. You learn so much. You need to have the right attitude. If you're going into this, you're ready to complain about everything, you'll just suffer. You'll just suffer without gaining anything. But if you walk into it, I want to share a quote that I read yesterday.
You're encouraging so many couples to jump into marriage.
Yeah.
Got married, and you made a good life of it. You're happy. You have a husband. You have a baby. Your life is full.
Yeah, we both work.
So it is possible to get married and not be miserable.
Or only miserable for a few years, and you make it through.
I want to say that I agree. That when my wife and I got married, 3 years, amazing, and then 3 years arguing all the time. Then after that, we were like, okay, that's cool. So I think that's a normal marriage beginning. Yeah.
Give it 10 years, at least. I think one central thing is you have to know the other person is not a monster, right? If you've discovered that your husband or wife has domestic, violent tendencies.
Or another wife.
Yeah, or just a bad person. That's something I will take. But every time we have an argument, I know that in his heart, as not sweet as he is,
he's thinking about tired.
He's not a bad person,
Yeah, because in his heart, he's thinking about a monster.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of anything, bad. So I know he's not a bad person, and that's really important. That's something you can hold on to for the rest of your life, right? And just build on that. And I want to share a quote before we run out of time. It's something I just happened to see yesterday. It says basically that we can bear hardship on our own, but not with someone else. And the reason is, when you face hardship on your own, you know that it's your problem. But when you are facing a hardship with someone else, like a husband or a wife, you always tend to blame it on the other side. You always think that the trouble is brought by the other side. It's because of the other side. You know what I mean? If it's just you, there's nobody to blame. Right. It's human tendency to blame on somebody else for your troubles. And when you're married, you tend to do that, right? Because it makes you feel better. It doesn't solve the problem, but it makes you feel better. And my husband is very good at that. And I know that by now. So sometimes I just allow him to do that because maybe he's stressed, or maybe he just has to let out some bad emotions and just blame it on me. It's okay.
Wow.
But other times, he overdo it, I fight back. I just think we need to understand ourselves, that we have this tendency to blame someone else for whatever the suffering we go through. Well, other times, it's just your life. So I think one crucial thing is to take responsibility for your life, like own your life. That includes your marriage, your child, solve your own problems instead of blaming it on someone else. Because it happens too much in marriages. And even with our kids. Like, adults tend to blame a lot of things on kids. We tend to let things out on kids when things are not going well. And we tend to let it out on the weaker ones in the family. Your parents, your kids. But once you see that, you can start correcting it. Right? You know that. Deeper down, you know you shouldn't do it. It's deeper down, you know that it's not your child's fault. It's just you were in a bad mood. Or something like that. So once you become aware of it, you take more responsibility for your own life, and then things will turn for the better.
Basically, I think the thing we can take away from today is that arguments in China and among Chinese couples and arguments in America are pretty much the same. That's all the time we have. If you guys want to add to this conversation, please email us at welovethebridge@gmail.com. Thank you so much for your time, baby.
Well, thank you, Jason. It was a fun time. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.